Well, good morning. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this very well or not. I don't know if I've got Bluetooth enabled on this, but we're going to go with this because this is what we have. I left my headset in the motorhome. As you can see, I'm not in the motorhome this morning. My rig was damaged while in tow, and so it was in the shop, and I had to get a hotel room last night. It's nice to have a beautiful rig like that and have everything with you, but when she breaks down, it's pretty major. So improper towing the second time, and the damage is in the same area, but it's different, and I can't even move it right now, and I don't know how they're going to move it either. I get a little glare off of this screen, and I'm hoping you don't, that's not annoying you as well, but it's annoying me. So it's the 7th of October, Tuesday. I seem to have some odd luck on Mondays. So I'm praising Yahweh. I mean, I'm grateful because, well, as mundane as life is, at least I can walk out in the open, under the open blue sky up here in Wyoming. And we need to be grateful for little things. And the mundane parts of life are pretty nice because when you seek too much excitement, sometimes you get yourself in trouble, a lot of trouble, and it's quite easy. So I got some help getting into trouble this time, that's for sure. What I want to tell you about. There's some amazing things going on, and the fear factor is very high. The survivalist channels are trying their best to panic us, and sometimes I think that's their job. And the evil ones that control the planet are tightening their grip. And our government at this point, it's becoming apparent to everybody except for Ziotards, Zionist Christians. Like, what's that guy's name? Haggerty. It's not Haggerty. It's the guy has shipped hundreds of millions of dollars to Israel, believing that they are the chosen ones and we have to worship them. And they aren't the chosen ones. Actually, they're chosen for destruction. And so because these guys will refuse to read the Bible and accept the truth in the Bible, they're going to support the devil and the devil's children. And I know that's a wild thing to say, but you have to admit that the people that are over there that are so eager to genocide others are the problem, not the ones they're genociding. I know some of you want to say they're just in the way and they need to be. You're listening too much to the propaganda. And I suggest you put it aside. As far as Charlie Kirk goes, whether he's dead or not does not matter. The wildest thing is there's a channel called the Best Shape Flat Earther or something like that. And this fellow shows us pictures and videos and does some research on these beings that are basically they're alive for a bit and then they seemingly die and then they show up elsewhere at another level playing another role. And typically they're at a higher level getting paid better. So it's like as they do their father, the devil's will, he rewards them because he owns this domain right now. Now it's not going to last much longer, and we don't know what kind of ride we're going to be going through. If we can pray for President Trump to Yahweh, that Yahweh would have a coming to Jesus kind of moment with him, like on the road to Damascus, like a flash of lightning, like, calling him to task and telling him where he's screwing up and what he needs to do. That's what we need. I don't think we're going to get that. I just don't. I'd love to be able to say, we pray hard enough and long enough, it'll happen, but I don't know. I don't also know what Yahweh's will in that situation is, because if I knew it, I would tell you that and at least suggest it. But this fellow right now is claiming that all of these lead characters that we see, actors and actresses, are playing dual roles, and they have faked their deaths, or their going missing is faked to bury the path, so people don't pursue them, and then they reappear as different characters. And the one that kind of got me was when he said Martin Luther King became Don King, the boxing promoter. And I mean, these people can really act. He claims that they're vampires, and I just don't know. I saw a video presentation of Ted Gunderson talking about a specific man who showed up as a woman was about to get sacrificed, and her blood was going to get drinking by another woman. Said she was going to drink her blood, and this guy shows up in the middle of the night and kills a bunch of them and gets her free. And she gave her testimony. And the basic problem, and I didn't realize it was this bad, is that as Ted Gunderson, the former head of the FBI in Los Angeles, said, everything is so corrupt, they've got all this control. And so they totally run the show. There is no justice. You cannot go to law enforcement because they will charge you with a crime because they are on the other side, including the FBI. So that's where we are at. The evil ones are doing their best to manipulate us into having some sort of a civil war. And I think that we need to withdraw from the society, withdraw our consents, our implied consents, and we need to just sit back and wait on Yahweh and disengage from these people. That's the best thing I can think that we can do. However, the woman who typed up her life story that Ted Gunderson read for us on the video, about 2011, I think is when he did that. I think he might have passed then. She said that she was not going to go public because the police were not going to help her. They were going to actually find her and turn her over to those people, and I think they did. But she also said that this fellow that showed up, I almost want to cry when I talk about stuff like this, but she asked him if he was she said he had blue eyes, and she asked him if he was an angel. And he said, no, but an angel sent me to rescue you. And then the last time she saw him, she was bare naked in the car. He asked her if she could drive, and she said yes. And he got out of the car, and she drove, and she didn't like it. She wanted him to stay with her because she felt safe, and she feared for him, but she was convinced that he was going to go back and kill them all. He said something about that. So we do have a few men that are directed by angels, and they're doing fantastic things. I mean, they're warrior class, they're out there fighting. And I guess he shot a few people and killed a few people. Anyway, his name was mentioned, but I haven't watched the video enough. I don't remember it. I just watched it once the other day. It was quite disturbing to realize that Ted Gunderson, a man who I have tremendous respect for, produced that video. And the fact is, this beast system, this hell on earth, this devil-reigned world at this point is just really incredible. And I marvel at people like Ted Gunderson who bring this stuff forward and give us this evidence, give us this good, honest testimony. So Lorraine and I are in the hotel. You can probably hear her nails as she goes by. Everything's in the motorhome. I don't even have a suitcase to pack stuff up and come into a hotel because this is not planned for us. Not what I expected. I didn't sign up for this. But I have to praise Yahweh because, as I was driving behind my own rig following the first tow truck driver who did not secure the drive shaft, I watched stuff coming out from behind the middle of my rig, the skirt, the apron, the flap that goes all the way across the bottom, right out the middle. And I'm thinking, man, I hope that's stuff on the road. And of course, what was really amazing is it didn't come at me. It went off to the side. mostly to the driver's side around my car so it didn't injure my car. It turns out it was half of the yoke. So I don't know how we're going to get these parts or when or where or what they're going to cost. I mean, I just have to praise Yahweh, knowing full well that He's gotten me through everything else and get me through this too. This is actually some sort of a chamomile herbal tea. I figured anything to calm myself down. Oh, and I got myself a real nice hot shower last night, and when I dried myself off with the towels, I was amazed the black stuff that that remained on my skin. So I've been holed up out in that rest area since Friday, and I think I got a shower the day before or 2 days before I broke down. So it was way too long to go without a nice human restoring feeling shower and get clean. I brought clean clothes, and I gotta change this shirt. This shirt is getting pretty dirty in the cuffs in particular. It's one of my father's old shirts. I really like it quite a bit. As you can imagine, I don't have that much of his stuff from him left anymore. Do pray to Yahweh for me and thank Him for my protection. I have hot water and heat in the coach now, and we got that working really good. John Carrillo at Heat My RV, he stayed on it and he got on it, and it turned out that there were some bad bearings. Apparently, they get a lot of those. Aqua gets a lot of those bearings from China, and John Carrillo said he had to source the bearings elsewhere, and he said he put in some German bearings, and man, if there's one thing the Germans know how to make, it's ball bearings. So I got a clean T-shirt on, and I got clean jeans to put on too, but I'm not going to get totally disrobed for you right here. Continued prayers for my safety, and above all, to keep me in Yahweh's will. It's the only way to fly, man. It really is. Our society is being broken down now so that women are now being forced onto the streets in massive numbers. And I would have to say that it used to be, and I got this from Michael Savage, my favorite talk radio show host, and actually a couple of times, twice after some shows, I had 2 different people call in. They didn't want to show up on air. And people, they didn't want to ask questions because they just want to listen to me. And one of them says, "You're better than Michael Savage." And I'm like, whoa, man. No, he's been doing this for quite a while. I was just getting started in it back in 2009. And somebody compared me to some big guy in the Bible that I don't like the way he writes. I don't agree with him all the time because I don't understand him very well. And besides that, he started off as a murderer, as far as I'm concerned. I thank Yahweh for helping me to avoid that kind of thing in my life. I really do, and I thank Him for so much for rescuing me from my bad habits. And right now, I'm just taking care of me. And I wish you folks all well out there. I know I had other things on my mind that I thought I should talk about, but what I want to mention this very clearly is that we have evidence in the biblical books, the books that were pulled out of the Bible because they told the truth too much, that there were 200 fallen angels. And so I can't help but wonder if the fallen angels are also vampires. And I can't help but wonder if these personages that keep on showing up on different stages are them. And it's pretty serious, folks, because that's so far from our minds and it's so repulsive we don't even want to think about it. But it could be the reality. Things are not right here on the planet. And let me remind you, from what I can see, John on the island of Patmos saw that the oceans were no more, meaning the seas were dried up. And as far as I can tell, there's only one way that can happen, and that is with another ice age where all of the waters get locked up above on the top of the continents in glaciers. So we may be headed for that. And if that happens, I hope people are able to function well and to survive. And they're going to have a fun time walking the bottoms of these oceans, or at least the lower depths of these oceans, to see all of the structures that have been built in the past. The Earth recycles itself. We do not cause global warming. Fossil fuels are not fossil fuels. They're not from fossils at all, because the oil that they drill for and pump up is at a much lower level than the fossils are at. There's no fossils down that deep at all. And so what we surmise is that this oil is part of the earth. And I'm going to give you a mechanistic definition. It's a giant electrical motor, and the oil, the crude, is an insulator, so it gets to function. So it's always forming this stuff to function. The other thing is that the earth is a living being, a living organism. It's actually much grander than what you think. And of course, I like to ask people, do you worship the Creator or do you worship the creation? Now, please don't get me wrong. I believe that we are in the Bible as the saviors, plural, and Mother Earth groans for her saviors. The reason for the white genocide is because most of us are Israelites. We're named after the Caucasus Mountain Range. Only those whose people crossed it are really Caucasians. Those who went around it aren't Caucasians, and those who sailed around, especially out of Egypt, back before they left even, those are not quite Caucasians, but they look like us. And you need to understand that we are the servant race. We are not the supreme race. We are designed to be in relationship with Yahweh constantly, and then hence we are expected to take stewardship and protect Mother Earth and all the species on it. And we are the only ones who can take the devils down, and they know it, and they know who we are, and most of us don't know who they are, and we don't know who we are. So as a result, it's a one-sided battle. They're romping all over us. And by the way, they use the same book we do. They use the Bible as a playbook for themselves. And they're going according to it. So when it says you will eat your children in the Old Testament, referring to the sieges of cities and all that, they do that to us today by getting all these aborted fetuses, baby parts, or the sacrifices that they have out there, and they feed it to us in the food supply. They use it in all kinds of stuff. I mean, all kinds of stuff, from flavoring and soft drinks to skin lotion for the face. They are harvesting people left and right and making money off that. They're also actually tracking people now for organ donation, because now that the medical records are all in the possession of the government, they can go look at blood type, they can look at phenotype, genotype, and they can find organ donors that way. And they're doing that. And a large part of what happened to the Palestinians early in this particular siege is that they actually were harvesting organs from those people in those hospitals in the basements. So, and that stuff happens in Africa as well. So you need to understand that when Christianity broke into the world, human sacrifice was a common thing and accepted. We stopped that. But today they run it in the background. And so human trafficking is a major thing, and almost everybody in D.C. is guilty of high treason. So all I can tell you is you need to form your own organic governments outside of these corporations, which are not organic governments and are not constitutional. And our enemies, Great Britain for sure has hurt this country more than any other country except Israel. Of course, Israel is controlled by the people up in Great Britain, and of course, everybody's underneath the Pope. And the Jesuit general in particular, who is the Pope's boss, the Jesuit general. please understand that the things that you look at and you think are good are quite often masquerading as good. I don't know exactly what happened to Eve in the garden, but you can bet the servant was not telling her the truth, was not presenting his real self, was not giving her informed consent or any options, or really any free will. So may Yahweh bless. Seriously.